don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Don't get your ego in the way and be selfish and hold yourself back from helping other people. If I would have been selfish and held myself back because my coaches, Clients in Abundance, has worked with hundreds of people and I'm not as experienced as them, blah, 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 I wouldn't have transformed the clients' lives that I have.
Yeah.
So it's also another way to look at it is you're being selfish by not putting yourself out there and helping people.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to the Your Best Self podcast. My name is Robert. I'm your host today. And today I'd be honored to be interviewing Lauren Turton. Now, Lauren is a revenue expansion specialist who is focusing on wellness expert, and she has successfully worked with over 200 companies on their marketing, on their branding, on their advertising, and on their events. Now, she has, amazing clients in the Forbes, 500 list and also in the Forbes Richest List. And today we're going to talk about her journey to where she is today and what lessons and obstacles she has went through, and also, what tips she can share for people that are just starting out and, sort of want to go into this online world, but still have a little bit no clue of where to start, how to do that. And in the second half of the interview, we're going to go and dive deep into how to create your signature offer online, because especially in times like these, perhaps it is time to, pivot your offline business into an online business. And maybe you are watching this or listening to this and you have a little bit of expertise, a little bit of knowledge, but still have no idea how you can package that up, create an offer around that, and basically build a business around that. So if you're in this situation right now, you should definitely stick around, listen, and watch this interview. So with that said, Lauren, welcome to the interview. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to talking about my story and then sharing strategies about how to take your expertise and put it online into a program.
Fantastic. I'm also looking forward to that. So Lauren, please share with us a little bit of your background story. How did your entrepreneurial journey basically begin?
Okay, well, my name is Lauren Turton and I'm a revenue expansion specialist for wellness experts. But this wasn't always my story. I would say that my entrepreneurial journey started when I was 8 years old, when my parents would not give me money for the candy bars I wanted. And they told me to figure it out yourself, figure out how to make money. And so I found someone that had a skill I didn't have. She was someone who knew how to make bracelets. So then she taught me how to make bracelets. And then I made bracelets and sold those bracelets to my parents' friends.
Wow.
And from there, that created the mindset of how do I make money for myself? And then how do I make more money? So after graduating high school, I moved around America for a little bit and I was working in the service industry. I was a bartender and I had the entrepreneurial mindset as a bartender. How can I capitalize on my shifts? How can I make more money during the time that I'm here compared to the other people that I'm working with? So that's what I did through my 20s. I was a career bartender. And then I moved to San Diego, California when I was 26 years old. And I knew I needed to take the next step in my career. And so I said, all right, I'm making great money as a bartender. Oh yeah, because in America we get tips.
Yeah, true.
So, okay, yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone, because I know you have an international crowd, that in America we make tips, and if you do it correctly, you can make a lot of tips. So I knew I wanted to take the next step in my career, and I said, where can I take my skills? Because remember, I don't have a formal education. I didn't go to college. So I said, where can I take my skills and make the next level of income? And I figured out that I could do event production. I ended up working in the event production industry for 5 years. I worked for a large scale event production company based in San Diego. And we worked with clients on the Forbes Richest List and very high level events, corporate, charity, private. And it was a very interesting space to be in. And I would say being in that world is what took my mindset to the next level, because I saw what all of these major organizations were doing. And I said, well, what are they doing that this company is not doing? So I started working with the owner of that company to scale her business based off of what I was learning from our clients. That company shut down about 2 years ago.
Okay.
When the company shut down, and it shut down for personal reasons of the owner. So when the company shut down, I said, all right, Lauren, here's your chance. do you go work for another event production company, or do you go full in on having your own company? And I decided to go full in on having my own company. So I started working with clients one-to-one. I was going project to project, and I was working on marketing, branding, photo shoots, video shoots, all of the things that I love. But I soon got burnt out. And I didn't have any online services. And I said, Lauren, what are you doing? Yeah. You need to take your services online. Okay, how do you do that? You need to create a program. And so that's how I got into the space I am in today, with working with wellness experts through the Wealthy Wellness System.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
my entrepreneurial journey is, it's been a lifetime journey of ups and downs and different things that happen that you don't have control over, and just reacting and learning from what's happening and, going on to the next step.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, I'm like very awesome to hear that your parents actually made you sort of find out, how to make your own money, because obviously, growing up, like nowadays, it's like, they put their children in front of the TV, they give them an iPad just so they shut up and basically, they can do their thing, which, is not a great way to raise your kids. So, respect to your parents that they actually, thought about like, all right, how can we push Lauren to basically become an entrepreneur? So, that obviously, had a big impact on your journey,
Huge.
As a whole, right? And, since we are on the topic of parents, did you get any other advice from your parents, which, today is very, very relevant to you?
My parents, so my mom's an immigrant to America. She's originally from Japan. And so she has that immigrant mindset. Okay. And I've realized that in America, there's two categories that I relate to with this mindset. And it's people who immigrate to America from another country, and then also people who move from a different region of the U.S. to a different region of the U.S., transplants. There's a mindset that goes with people who make this very difficult decision to move from location to location. And even within the US, I'm from the Midwest, I'm from Ohio. Moving to California was like moving to another country, except they spoke the same language. Yeah. So with having a mother who's an immigrant from Japan, she instilled in me what I would say is grit and always the figure-outable mindset. Everything is figure-outable. And so that's something that I received from my mother that I'm very thankful for, because I don't know the answer no. If someone says that the answer is no, I'm like, it's not no, it's let's figure it out. Yeah. So that's something I'm very, very thankful to have.
And I could totally relate to that. And, first of all, it's a very, very important sort of mindset or skill to have, being able to adapt to situations, and being able to figure things out, if they get tough. And I can totally relate to you, because we are basically immigrants from Russia. I was originally born in Russia, and my parents, in their 20s, they decided to move from Russia to Germany without speaking a single word of German, right? So that was really tough, and have like mad respect. And, I'm so proud of my mom and my family that they made the decision, because otherwise I would definitely not be here today if they would have stayed in Russia. So I can totally relate to that, having that mindset of being able to figure things out, even though it's very uncertain and very hard and very unknown, basically, right? So that's very, very important to have. Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, that is the mindset you need to have. Yeah. Everything is figure outable, because there's so many obstacles that are going to come your way. So when an obstacle comes, if you just shut down or say no, you're not going to move forward as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that is a very important mindset to have.
Very true. And since we're on the topic of on obstacles and basically challenges, what were, some obstacles that you had along the way where, you got into perhaps your own business? Let's start there, where you figured out, all right, I want to do my own business. I want to go full in on this thing. And what were some, challenges that you had, going into that?
Tech. I'm not, for me, tech is, it's an interesting relationship. I know enough tech to get by, but I'm not a tech expert. So one of the things I did when I started creating an online program was teach myself ClickFunnels. I locked myself in my office February 2019, 12 hours a day. Wow. And I learned ClickFunnels. And the reason why I did that is because I knew that, yes, one day I was going to outsource this to somebody who's an expert in creating that type of content. But I also knew as a business owner that I needed to know so that when I was having conversations with the person I outsourced it to, I would know their language and I would know what they were talking about.
True.
So that was something for me that was very challenging and very difficult. But I just said, okay, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to do it. The other things that I've run into with taking my expertise online is some of the small things kind of have tripped me up. What are they called? Like, when you have an email campaign and then it needs a trigger and those little things.
Automation thing. Yeah.
The automation stuff, sometimes I'll look on the back end and I'll be like,
what is this?
What is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
I'm to the point now where I am able to outsource that. So I have a great team that I work with. They're amazing. But in the beginning, when I was doing that all myself, that's the stuff that would trip me up.
And you said, you had the decision after working for 5 years, for basically clients, and then you had the decision to either go all in or continue working for the clients. And now going all in is obviously very amazing to do if you have the courage to do that, because obviously it's a scary place to be in, right? It's very uncertain, very fearful, because you don't really know, you've never done that before. So how did you deal with, that situation and, that perhaps uncertainty, if you had, any of that?
I just trusted my instincts and I just said, do it, just do it. Go all in on this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had always been in a space of going back and forth. While I did work for that large scale event production company, I also had my own event company. I threw events at all of the nightclubs in San Diego. And the reason why I said go all in now that you have the opportunity to is because I knew that by having split energy, when I was working beyond full-time at the event production company, and then I also had my part-time company, the split energy, it just doesn't work. So that's another thing that people need to realize is that by going all in on having your own company, you're able to just focus and dedicate 100% to that.
And that's very interesting because, there are like different approaches, I believe, to that, because some people are saying, hey, sort of, have a part-time job. So you have like sort of like a safety net, and then, build your side hustle basically on the side. Some people say basically, burn the ships, burn the boats and go all in. So what do you think is, since obviously you just said like go all in, is that the best way to do that? Or would you, sort of do it again in a different way?
So, of course, each person's story is different, and you need to make sure that you have a roof over your head, that your bills are paid, and that you and your family are taken care of. So if that means that you need to have a part-time job to generate income while building your business, then yes, absolutely. We can't be homeless.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there is a way to delegate your time so that you are all in on your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you can work 2 full-time jobs. Yes, you can do that. I've done it. I've worked 80, 90 hours a week before. It's doable. It's about how you dedicate your time while you're in those situations of having split energy. Now, there's some people who might have a financial setup to where they don't need a part-time job and it's just there for comfort, like you said, a safety net. Now, if you're in that situation where you don't need to have the part-time job, I would say get rid of that and then just go all in on your business.
And what if people, because you obviously sort of had things that you loved and, you've been working a lot with, other clients. So you already had like an expertise, you had a skill that you could use to basically build your own business around. But what if, somebody who, let's say, just got out of college, they have some kind of major, but they're completely clueless. They have no idea what to do. And they perhaps don't really have that skill as you had, right? And maybe they have a little bit of experience in, online marketing. They've dabbled around, tried different things here and there, and now they want to build some kind of offer, but they have absolutely no clarity at all what it is supposed to be around. How can people find that clarity, and how can they go, from that position?
One of my favorite ways to hone in on this is by looking at the younger version of yourself. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean age-wise, because I work with some clients who are older than me, but they're the younger version of myself in certain aspects. So what this means is, what obstacle have you overcame that you now have skills to overcome that obstacle?
Yeah.
That's the younger version of yourself. So for me, the younger version of myself are taking clients out of the one-on-one space and putting them online. I used to run around town, work with clients one-to-one, in-person meetings. I had no expertise online. And that for me is such a passion to work with people on, because I know the struggles and the obstacles that my clients are currently going through, because I went through all of them themselves.
Yeah.
So that is one of my favorite ways to help people hone in on who they need to be working with, is the younger version of themselves.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good piece of advice, because now thinking about it, like, I was thinking about, right, so because I've been working, online for like 3 years, mainly in the make money online space, as a lot of people are sort of, when they just start out online, they just Google how to make money online and they just stumble on, promote affiliate products and, you will be rich in overnight, basically. So, I was thinking about, like, now working for 3 years, there's no real like super duper expertise that I have in like email marketing or stuff like that. But still, as you said, there are things that you have overcome, you have figured out yourself, or by just trying, trial and error, that you can now teach others, or just, sort of direct them or guide them through that as well. So that's, definitely some good piece of advice here. Love it.
Thank you. I would also say another thing that is very helpful is tapping into the desire to help others.
Yeah.
Are you going to have a service-based or a product-based business that is helping others? Because that will also keep you inspired daily to continue what you're doing. So I know every single day that I am helping other people, and that inspires me to wake up every single day and just do what I need to do to help other people. So that's something else that I think is important for people to tap into is, are you starting a business just to make money?
Yeah.
That's not going to keep you going every day. It's really not, because money isn't happiness, but helping others and seeing transformation happen either through your product or your service, that is going to keep you motivated.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, because, we can all sort of find strategies or tactics on, make a little bit of money, basically, a quick influx of money. But it's always very interesting to see that, the high level entrepreneurs always are after having impact, having a positive impact on other people, because that's in the end, what is truly fulfilling to the most people. Because at some point, the money is just money. You have basically the basic necessities that you need. And then, above that, it's actually, fulfilling to help other people, see that same success as well, right? So that's really cool that a lot of people, have that. And you've been talking a lot about, the keyword mindset has been dropped, right? And, as an entrepreneur, you can probably talk for like 2 hours about mindset and the right mindsets to have. But what do you think is, the three most important mindsets an entrepreneur should have in order to succeed in business and in life?
So I want to go back another step before the three mindsets. I want to go to clearing out past traumas. I think as an entrepreneur, this is a very important thing that you need to do as you are entering the entrepreneurial space. And it's been interesting talking to people from different parts of the world about this topic, because I live in San Diego. And in San Diego, it's very common to have these type of conversations because of the community of people that live here. And I'm realizing that people around the world still aren't having these conversations, that there's stigma around therapy. A lot of people haven't heard of energy work or breath work and these tools that can be used to clear past traumas. I've had conversations with people where they're like, well, I don't have any past traumas. And I'm like, are you a human? Because every person has past traumas, and also traumas are passed down generationally. So you could be carrying trauma from your parents and your grandparents. So with all of that being said, one of the best things I did when I started into the entrepreneurial space 2 years ago, when I launched my own company, was I started deep diving on clearing past traumas. And what worked best for me was breath work, energy work, biomagnet therapy, and acupuncture.
Wow.
And because I did the difficult work to clear past traumas, I now have the space in my mind, my body, and my heart for more creativity, abundance. I'm now more open, and I'm able to see opportunities in a different way that I wasn't able to see them before. So that is my first piece of advice when it comes to mindset, is actually doing the work to clear past traumas.
And well, beyond that, before we move to the next, mindset, basically, I totally agree with you that past traumas, are incredibly important to clear off, because they obviously, what happens to you as a child, conditions you into believing certain things, today, and you aren't even aware, what limiting beliefs are holding you back, just deep down, which you have absolutely no idea that they actually exist, right? So sometimes it's just like, you do something and you can't seem to, break that barrier because there's this limiting belief, but you have no idea that it's there. So you're all of a sudden like, what is going on? Like, why can't I, exceed that certain limit that I have? So, totally agree with you that past traumas are, definitely important to clear off before actually doing something.
And just to keep it real with everyone, even with myself, with everything that I've achieved in just 2 years of starting my company, even this past week, I could tell that I was having some blocks. Yeah. So this past weekend, I did so much. I did meditation work. I did virtual breath work with my facilitator. Her name is Chelsea Pine. We can link her in the description of this, because I want everyone to know about Chelsea Pine. And I just went deep the last 2 days on what was going on with me. And I realized that I had a block. And I realized where that block was coming from. So this morning I continued the work in my meditations of, it was worthiness. I had a block about worthiness because I'm now trying to up level to the next level with my business. And there was a block on worthiness. So it goes to show you that even as you start these journeys in the entrepreneurial space, in the clearing of past trauma space, that you're always going to come up with new things. So it's work that you have to continue doing.
Yeah. And it's, it doesn't even matter like how far you basically get, because like at the beginning you will have challenges and obstacles, limiting beliefs, but the higher you get, sort of the beliefs and the challenges are getting, tougher and tougher to break, to get basically to the next level. Right.
Exactly.
That's really true. Yeah. And, since we are on the topic of worthiness, I know we are getting a little bit, like further and further, like into down the rabbit hole, but it's, very, very important, because I believe that worthiness and, the feeling of not being good enough is very, very real and very problematic for a lot of entrepreneurs. Right. So how do you, or like, how have you dealt, with that? Or what's your advice for people that have absolutely this feeling of like, okay, so am I really worth something? How much can I charge for my services and all of that? Because that's obviously a big struggle.
Yes. Well, one, you are worthy and you have so many gifts to share with the world. So everyone needs to understand and know that. Now, I get that we have the little voice in our head that can come in and say, you're not worthy. How can you think to charge that much? Blah, 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 blah. That has to do with mindset work. So again, going back to having the tools to deal with when that little voice comes into your head. And so that's going to be something that you have to explore. Like I said, I mentioned breath work, Reiki, biomagnet therapy, regular therapy. By using those tools, I know for me, when I get that voice in my head, I just like reset and I'll go through a mantra of worthiness, so that I also recognize that voice too. Like, I'm like, okay, I hear you. I hear you talking to me. I hear you telling me that I'm unworthy and that I don't deserve to up level to the next level of income. I hear you, but I am worthy. And so I'll just do a mantra and talk myself through those limiting beliefs. So I would say having the tools in your toolbox to be able to deal with that stuff. What was the other question? There was another part to this, I thought.
Worthiness. I don't even know. There was another question, but I think you answered it. How basically how to deal with that. So reset yourself and just basically counter the thought of like, you are actually worthy, right? But it actually starts to actually be aware of like, there is this voice inside of your head that is constantly telling you stuff that isn't really beneficial to your journey, right?
Yes. Oh no, you asked me about charging for services, because that is such a sensitive topic to people when they're first starting out. And first of all, don't undercharge.
Yeah.
That is the number one thing, because if you undercharge for your services, it's going to, the energy exchange is not going to be equal between you and the person you're working with, so that it's not going to be a good working relationship. So with that being said, I know how much to charge. Yeah. Look at other people in your space, see what they're charging. It's always great to look around and see what other people are charging for services. I do think starting with one-on-ones is important, because one-on-ones is where you're going to get a lot of data and you're going to discover. With that being said, don't spend too much time with one-on-one clients. You need to be taking what you're doing with them and putting it into a scalable program online. So you need to find that balance. I had a talk with someone the other day who is, he just achieved in 3 months, he achieved scaling his Amazon business to 6 figures.
Nice.
In just 3 months. So him and I were having a conversation. I said, okay, I see that you're offering one-on-one services. How much are you charging? And I said, that is not enough. I said, your one-on-one clients at a low rate are going to suck the life out of you. I said, you need to go into it with a different mindset, and you need to go into it as research, gathering data, and then putting that into an online package so you can scale it.
Yeah, that's definitely, good advice there.
Yeah.
All right, then let's move on to mindset number 2.
Mindset number 2. The people you surround yourself with is really, really important. Sure. Conversations you're having, even down to who you're following on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Sure.
If you're looking through your feed and people are posting whack stuff, unfollow or mute. Same with Facebook. I would start with just clearing out any of the negative surroundings in your social settings, and also really evaluating your relationships. Are you having conversations with people where you're talking about other people? Because if that's the case, then you're on a lower frequency. Now, if you realize you're having conversations with people and you're talking about ideas and plans and things to execute, now you're on a higher frequency. So start to look at what's going on in your social scene. Now, if you look around and you say, wait a minute, there's really no one in my scene that's on the same vibration as me, then you need to get into another network of people. And it can be just connecting with people like me or you, and seeing if they're posting stuff that you like on Instagram. Hey, send them a DM. Hey, my name is blah, 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 blah. I see what you're posting. I'm trying to level up. What advice do you have for me? And start creating your own tribe of people. It's super important that you're surrounded with the right mindset with your tribe.
Yes, totally agree. And, this is, there is this saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I believe this is so, so true, because since I have started, the podcast where I just surround myself, with people like you, and just, people that are way higher than I am, super ambitious, super high energy, I can just feel being inspired with every interview that I do. And, I go off the interview being like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to basically conquer the world. So, that is very, very true, guys, that, if you really surround yourself with awesome people, it will just, be so contagious that you also want to get on their level, or also want to start working and do stuff and, just be a high achiever, basically. And I also, totally agree with the fact that if you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is open up Instagram and just scroll through the feed of other people's lives, this is probably one of the worst ways to start your mornings and get into this, reactive state where you just see stuff and you're like, oh, my life sucks so much. They are so cool and I want to live their life, So don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Exactly. And since we are on mornings, do you have a morning routine that you usually do in the morning, which is pumping you up for the day?
Yes. So, I am not a morning person. So I'm talking to all the people out there who are not morning people, because I feel like we get a little bit shamed and people give us a hard time. So I relate to all of you. What I have done to make my mornings a more pleasant experience for myself is I wake up at 7. And for me, that is my natural time to wake up is 8 o'clock. So waking up at 7 for me it's a thing. So I wake up at 7. I like to do like just a 20-minute workout in the morning. I do push-ups, abs, and squats. And it's not like my full-on workout. It's just to get the blood moving because, again, mornings are difficult. And I also do a 20-minute abundance meditation.
Nice.
I eat my breakfast, I shower, I get ready, and then I am on my laptop by 9 o'clock. So I give myself 2 hours to get everything that I need to do. And then also communication-wise, you brought up a good point. I only communicate with one person in the morning. I'm not checking Instagram. I'm not checking all of that other stuff during my morning routine.
Yeah. And that's all. Yeah. That's very, very important to have like the first few hours for yourself and really, get yourself into this prime state to be able to actually execute on the actions that you need to take. Because productivity is obviously, another topic that we could, just go very deep about, which is very important for entrepreneurs, obviously, as well. And I believe like morning routines or just in general, having routines and sort of those rituals is crucially important for entrepreneurs to have. Otherwise, it's just like, you're all over the place and just jumping around and you have like a little bit of focus here, then you're writing the email and next to that, you're all of a sudden, I have to do this and that. So, have a morning routine, guys, build something for yourself where you feel good about yourself, just, waking up, being in this state of being able to do and execute on the actions that you have that you need to take on a daily basis.
And also with that, it's not just a morning routine.
Yeah.
You also need to make a routine for your business.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I've seen a lot of people struggling with right now from working from home. They're like, wait a minute, I'm at home now. How do I do this? For me, I've been working at home for, over 2 years now. So I have a routine, and that's another thing that we do. I have an amazing business partner. His name is Kai Light. And him and I have our schedule. We know on Mondays that we're going to virtually meet with each other at 1 o'clock because we both know Monday mornings for both of us, we need our space to get into the week. So we don't meet until 1 o'clock on Mondays. And then we'll do like a 1 to 3 hour meeting on Mondays to get organized for the week. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we hit it hard. And we have our schedule of what we're doing and we kind of break it down hour by hour. And then on Friday, we like to wrap up our weeks by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's the schedule that we've realized amongst our team with him and I, and then we have a couple contractors under us as well. We know when we're going to communicate with everyone so that it's all on a schedule and then there's no surprises.
Yeah. And I think that's also...
There are surprises, when...
Yeah. Now go ahead.
No, if there are surprises that pop up, because things pop up, that you have time to deal with it.
Yeah, true. And I believe this is also very important to have, your way of like time management, right? Because obviously everybody, functions differently. Everybody uses different tools and it's just another way, a way to, spend your time wisely, but having some kind of system in place. I totally agree that, that's very crucially important, especially if you have, so much to do and, so little time in the end, but you need to get stuff done. So good advice there. Okay, let's jump on to mindset number 3, and then we're going to jump into creating your signature offer.
Ooh, okay. Mindset number 3. Let's see, what do I want to go into now? I'm like, ooh, what do I want to talk about? Mindset number 3. Oh, having a plan.
Oh, yeah.
Having a plan, knowing what your 5-year, 3-year, 1-year vision and goals are, and then putting the action steps behind them. I feel like this is something that gets miscommunicated when talking about mindset is when people talk about manifesting their dreams. I feel like people who are just entering that space look at it as very woo-woo, like, ooh, yeah, you're going to manifest your dreams. How are you going to do that? Well, you can manifest anything when there's actionable steps behind it, and also consistency. So that is the third thing that I think is really, really important, is having a plan, having a vision, having goals, and then putting steps behind it to make it all achievable. Okay, you want to make $25,000 a month. All right, awesome. What's the math behind that? What are the steps behind it? That's the kind of stuff you need to start looking at. You want to make $100,000 a month. Okay, it's totally doable. It's math, and there's the steps behind it. So that's the third thing that I think is really important for people to understand, is having those long-term visions and then just breaking them down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like without a plan, you're just a headless chicken, basically going in each direction you basically want to feel like going. And I think this is actually a very, crucial, topic as well, and a very problematic, situation for a lot of people when entrepreneurs that are entering the space, because there are obviously, thousands of different ways how you can go around, building your business, how you can make money online. And I quickly want to touch upon the shiny object syndrome, because that's obviously a very, very crucial point here. And that's why you also need a plan, right? Because otherwise the shiny object syndrome is going to eat you up big time.
Yes, the shiny object syndrome. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to start my own business. It's going to be great. I'm going to be doing this. Like, you're literally starting a business.
Yeah.
So you have to realize that it's not shiny.
Yeah, true.
There's so many things that go into making something shiny. And you have to be prepared to take all of those steps to get that shiny object. And even, I was talking to a friend who, he started a digital marketing agency 6 or 7 years ago. And we were talking about the level he's at now, because he started it with one other person in a Starbucks. And he now has a staff of 20 to 25.
Wow.
And I was like, so now this many years in, where you're doing this much in revenue per month, what's happening now? He was like, now it's shifted into bigger and different problems than what I had before. So always know, as an entrepreneur, no matter what level you get to, you're always going to be dealing with things.
Yeah. And I believe that this is also sort of like another mindset to have, that you are in this for a long term, right? It's not just something that you do here and there a little bit, because you obviously said, you got to go all in, you got to focus on this thing. And, it's going to be tough. There's going to be, pitfalls, there's going to be adversity, and there are going to be problems and challenges and struggles and pain and all of that. It is part of the process. And if you're not ready to deal with all of that, you are probably not made to be an entrepreneur at all.
Exactly.
All right. So since we're on the topic on, plan, we can, that's a perfect transition to go into how to create your signature offer online.
Yes. So I'm going to go into the 4 blueprints to create your online offer. I have a link where you guys will be able to download these blueprints. In the download, you'll get the blueprints and examples, and there's a 15-minute video training walking you through these blueprints. So Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me just a second.
Yes.
Let's see.
So while Lauren is setting up, the thing, guys, if you're enjoying this interview right now, then let me know in the comments down below, and also, like this video. And if you want to see more videos just like this one and more interviews, then subscribe to the channel as well. And follow.
Oh, yes. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I'm going to go through these. These are the 4 blueprints to create your unique signature program.
Awesome.
And I want you all to remember, you want to sell the benefits, not the features. So sell the benefits, not the company or the service. People buy results, not features. This is where you can go to download these blueprints, thewealthyWellnessSystem.com/SPLM.
Fantastic.
And again, I'm Lauren Turton. I'm a revenue expansion specialist. I've worked with over 200 companies on their web and social media accounts, photo and video assets, brand activations, and events. I produced over 100 events, including companies listed in the Fortune 500 and clients listed on the Forbes Richest List. I'm the co-creator of the Wealthy Wellness System, a program for wellness experts to take their services online so they have time, location, and financial freedoms. See, I just told you the benefits, not features. While serving a global tribe from their home. And I'm vice president of Namaste Wings to Fly America, a nonprofit that helps provide children in India education and essential services to allow them to develop the skills of self-sufficiency. And I'm the founder of At Least One Day a Month, a program which organizes volunteer opportunities in San Diego at least one day a month.
That's awesome.
So before I go into the training, I want to talk really quickly about why you need to pick a niche and how to choose a niche. And let me go ahead and pull up my notes for this, because this is a very important topic that people don't really understand at first. So let me run you through this. So you need to know who your target audience is so that you can craft messaging that's so specifically tailored to them that it's magnetic. You will be speaking to their hearts. And yes, you can work with people outside your niche, absolutely. But first, you need to start with a marketing plan to drive your ideal clients to your offer. So you need to niche down. A lot of people have a hard time with this. They're like, but I want to work with everyone. Well, you can't have marketing messages that talk to everyone. This is a great example. A marketing message that's going to speak to me, a 35-year-old individual that identifies with being a female who lives in San Diego, California. I like to go to house music festivals. I have a Chihuahua Jack Russell. I ride an electric skateboard. I go to yoga. I go to breath work. A marketing message that's going to talk to me is going to be completely different than a marketing message that talks to my 55-year-old father, who is a road engineer in West Virginia, who is a whitewater rafting guide. Do you see why you need to niche down? Because if you want to work with everyone, you can't talk to me and you can't talk to my dad in the same way. So it comes down to marketing. So how do you choose a niche? I went into this a little bit earlier, but the younger version of you, what problem or obstacle have you overcome that you can now help people with? For me, it was working with clients one-to-one. I shared with you earlier, I want to take people out of that space into online with a scalable program so they can have time, location, and financial freedom, which is what I've created for myself. Okay. This also helps you get into niching down. As you niche down, you're going to work on your avatar's archetype. You're going to get down their name, their gender, their age, household income, marital status. What social media platforms are they on? Who do they follow? What books and magazines do they read? And the reason why you're going to do all of this is, again, it comes back to marketing. You can then use targeted ads to have your message placed in front of these exact people. So I'll go into who my ideal client is. Her name is Melly, Monica, or Chelsea. She's 28 to 38. She has a household income of over $100,000. She's single. She's not married. She doesn't have children. She's originally from another part of America, but now she lives in San Diego. Do you see how you're starting to paint the picture of who this person is? She goes to yoga, and she started to get into business. So she follows Marie Forleo. She reads yoga magazines. She likes Lululemon. So now you guys can see, I'm painting the picture of who my ideal client is. So I hope this blueprint helps you. Actually, take a screenshot of this one because it's not included in the download that that you guys are gonna get. All right, so now let's get into.
And it's also quickly, can I quickly touch upon that? It's also very interesting that, this avatar that you have created seems very, very similar to yourself, right? Since, you create, you are talking to the younger version of yourself. So it just basically, makes sense to see what you have been through, what magazines and books you read, who you follow, where you basically hang out. So that's just a quick, thing that I wanted to touch upon.
Yes, you're exactly right. Okay, so now we're going to get into how to create your signature online offer. So here I'm going to break down the 3 signature program phases, the big steps for success that your clients need to take. What you're going to start doing is breaking down the mini transformations that are going to happen in your program. It's going to be broken down into phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. You're going to be taking them from frustration to a desired goal. So you're going to start inputting this information. I'm going to show you an example so this makes a little bit more sense. So for the Wealthy Wellness System, phase 1, the unique name is plan, because we're taking our clients from scattered to structured. And we do that by working on their mindset, their client's avatar, and creating their signature offer. Phase 2, it's called build. We're taking our clients from being invisible to being connected. And we do that by building their masterclass, building out their community, and their funnel. Phase 3 is launch. We're taking them from being frustrated and not knowing how to do sales to servicing their clients. And we're doing this through Facebook ads and enrolling their clients with integrity. So now I'm going to show you the next blueprint where you're going to take this information and then plug it into there. Mm-hmm. So you're going to take what you just built out and start putting it into your signature journey. Mm-hmm. This one's broken down on the one side, the 3 phases, phase A, B, and C. And then you can see that we have highlighted point A to point B. That's the transformation you're going to take your clients on. Mm-hmm. And then you're also going to list their micro transformations and the subject of each module. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm going to show you a blueprint so this makes more sense. Okay, so as you can see, phase A, B, and C, plan, build, launch. Mm-hmm. Then you start going into the modules. Module 1, your millionaire mindset. Mm-hmm. Stagnant to ignited. That's the micro transformation. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be reprogramming their thinking. Module 2, the heart of your avatar. They're going from ambiguous to who they're working with to crystal clear. Mm-hmm. So we're working with them to lay their foundation. Mm-hmm. Module 3, a bulletproof signature offer. Mm-hmm. They're going to go from cheap, working with clients one-on-one, undercharging for services, to premium. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be their unique program. Now, this example is what we do with our clients. So now you're going to start figuring out what is it that you do with your clients, and start plugging in the information here so that you can build out a signature online offer. Mm-hmm. And then the last blueprint just shows you what it's going to look like from the client's perspective. Mm-hmm. So then you would take the signature program that you create, and then you'll make a nice, pretty little graphic like this. Mm-hmm. And then you can start letting people know, this is what we do with our clients. This is our signature journey. Mm-hmm. So that is how you create your unique signature journey.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That's awesome. Cool. And, with that, system, because obviously you have been working, with a bunch of clients, teaching them this approach of, creating their signature offer and, basically launching it. What do you see is usually, some of the challenges and struggles that people have going into using that kind of system and building out their offers?
So let me put up, there we go. So some of the challenges or what we kind of see at first is people saying, well, I work with clients one-on-one. We work with the wellness industry. So we work with acupuncturists, breath work, energy healers, doctors, and therapists. And so at first there's some resistance because they say, but I need to see my patients in person. I need to touch them. I need to stick needles in them. And we say, those are great tools, but you also do more with your clients. And after, I would say about 4 weeks of working with us, they realize, oh my gosh, I do so much more with my clients that I can do online than I realized. For example, the acupuncturist, she works with Chinese herbs. So she's able to work with clients online to figure out what herbs that they need. She also works with diet. She works with mindset. So at first people think either I need to be with my clients in person. How do I do this online? Or they also think I don't have enough to create a transformational, heavy-hitting online offer. And the answer is yes, you do. You can see just through those blueprints that once you start digging into what's going on up here and what it is you can do with people, you have enough intellectual property, you have enough experience, you have enough knowledge to transform people's lives.
Yeah, and that's, also very important. That would be, the next question, because obviously, people want to create their offer and, they perhaps have a little bit of knowledge, but they are still unsure whether or not they are qualified enough, to actually do that. And, how can people deal with that? Because obviously it's also a limiting belief to have that feeling of not being qualified enough or not being good enough to actually teach it. Because especially, let's say you want to become some sort of coach, for productivity or, clarity or whatever, but there are obviously, tons of different other coaches which are way more experienced than you. Yeah, they have, business experience. They have actually built businesses up from the ground, and you have none of that. How can people, do still, create that offer and, stand behind that with 100% confidence that it actually, helps people?
So you need to stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane and put the blinders on to comparing yourself to other people, because you have your unique experiences and you have enough experiences to where you've gone from point A to point B to be able to help someone else do it. You only need to be a couple steps ahead of the other person. And that's another thing people think, is they think, I need years of experience. I need this, I need that. No, you don't. You just need to have the desire to help someone get their desired results.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's a cool movie, Catch Me If You Can, where, Leonardo DiCaprio basically, is a con artist, and he, goes into different roles. And at some point he is like the teacher who is, teaching this whole advanced sociology class. And, then at a later stage he gets caught. And then they ask them, like, how the hell did you, manage to teach this whole class, advanced sociology, even though you have no idea about that? And he just basically said, I just read the book and was one chapter ahead of everybody else. And that's, totally the case here, because as long as you're just a little bit ahead and you have, some knowledge that you can teach to somebody else, you are basically an expert in their eyes, right?
Exactly. And the other thing too is, don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Don't get your ego in the way and be selfish and hold yourself back from helping other people. If I would have been selfish and held myself back because my coaches, Clients in Abundance, has worked with hundreds of people and I'm not as experienced as them, and blah, 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 I wouldn't have transformed the clients' lives that I have.
Yeah.
So it's also another way to look at it is, you're being selfish by not putting yourself out there and helping people.
Yeah, you're basically doing a disservice, to the world of not sharing, what you know about. So that's very important. And you just, mentioned, ego, which is also a very, very important topic. And I believe that a lot of times the ego and the pride that we have, holds people back to go into doing, some stuff. How did you manage your ego sometimes? Because that's obviously also very important.
So it's still something that I struggle with. I'll look and be like, should I post it? Should I not post it? That type of thing. And I had a really funny experience this week where I said, you know what, on that interview, because on Friday, I was being interviewed by one of my clients. She was doing a live telemedicine session so that her audience could see what telemedicine was. And she is a doctor in acupuncture. And I had an injury a week ago on my knee and my ankle. And on Wednesday, I pooped my pants. Okay? So that happened in my life last week. And I said to myself, Lauren, you have a live interview with a doctor on Friday, and she's going to ask you medical questions. Do you talk about your injury, and do you talk about the pooping your pants incident? And I said, what if you don't talk about it? What if you don't, because of your ego and you're worried about being embarrassed or this or that or whatever? I said, what if there's somebody that needs to hear this? What if there's a medical remedy for what happened? What if there's a solution that somebody else needs and you're being selfish by not sharing it? So I talked about it on Friday, and I had so many people that messaged me and said, I needed to hear that message. I was curious before about something that happened with my body in a reaction to an injury. And it ended up being the injury on my leg has channels up to the stomach. And that's why I was having gut issues. So if I wouldn't have told that story because of ego, I would have not found the answers for myself, but also other people needed to hear that. So sometimes you just got to just get over it.
Yeah.
And tell your poop your pants story.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, no, totally agree. That sometimes, it's very important as well, because for me personally, it's always this sort of sometimes fear of judgment, because, as you said, am I going to post this? Am I going to talk about that? What will people think about this post? Is it really good enough? And all of that, yada, yada, yada. So, just thinking or like looking at it from a perspective of doing a disservice to other people, I think is very, very powerful, because that will just eradicate everything. Because also, like, what's the worst case? Like, what is the worst thing that could happen in this situation, right?
Here's another example. So we have recently been launching and testing our Facebook ads. And we have gotten some people who've commented negative things. Like, oh, this is a scam, or some people are commenting about me, like, oh, just a hot blonde, or, whatever. And I'm going through the negative comments. And at first I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, because it's kind of scary to get that type of, interaction in your life. But then on the flip side, how many clients have I helped since releasing the Facebook ads? How many people have joined our Facebook community where we have free trainings? How many clients have I signed to work with because of those ads? So you have to look at it. It's part of the territory of being an entrepreneur and putting yourself out there. You are going to get negative feedback. And that's okay. Because there's, on the flip side, so many people that you're helping and supporting.
True. Yeah. And it's always, going to be part of that. And I believe that there's a lot of power that you can actually take, from in the negative, things, and sometimes from the hate of other people, because I believe that, once you get those hateful comments and all those trolls and all of that, you're doing something right? Because obviously you cannot really please everybody, and you shouldn't. As you said, like, you cannot have a marketing message because you want to work with everybody. You simply can't. You gotta be on, one side or the other. And, once you get those hateful comments and those trolls, that's where you're doing something right.
We actually celebrated on our first hateful comment. I video chatted Kai, and I was like, Kai, did you see? We got our hate. We were both dancing around like, yes, we got our first hater. We made it.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, it, first happened like back then. I've been doing a lot of Facebook lives, and usually like people are very supportive and very glad that I'm doing those lives and all of that. But at some point, I actually got like a hateful comment, or like a troll who has been doing some shit. And I was very happy, because I knew, like, all right, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right here. And I actually, celebrated it as well. I'm like, yo, and actually called him out, like, hey, shout out to you and all of that. So it was, a fun moment, to experience that, because that's where, you're doing something right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Back with the ego, it's just something that you have to embrace and deal with as a business owner, and realize that it's part of the game.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And what comes next to you, for you then in your business and in your life? What's basically, the long-term plan?
So my long-term plan with the Wealthy Wellness System, we are at a phase now where we are stabilizing, because we've had a little bit of a roller coaster going on, where we've enrolled a bunch of clients and it kind of went down, went back up. So my goal right now is stabilization. And then after a few months of stabilization, I want to scale. And so that's the goal with the Wealthy Wellness System. And then eventually we are going to add on retreats, workshops, all of that type of stuff. I have recently stepped into the space of public speaking.
Awesome.
And thank you. It's been such a interesting adventure. So with that being said, when things are lifted and we're allowed to be back in public together, I would like to be speaking from more stages. So that is part of the plan for the Wealthy Wellness System. And then my long-term goal is to get the Wealthy Wellness System and the restaurant that I'm opening here in San Diego, Chow Chow Piadina, to where they're stabilized, they're running, everything is good. And then to really be able to focus on my nonprofit work, because that is my biggest passion. I have a goal of opening up a school in Southern India, and I got the approval for that when I was in India in January. So once I get everything business-wise set up, then I want to be able to start focusing on developing and then eventually opening up a school in India.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Because I can relate to that, because one of my life goals is actually to also create a school for just personal excellence and help children to, because like all that stuff that we've talked about about mindset and how to believe in yourself and all of that, this is never being taught in school at all. Not even in college at some points, but it's so crucially important, because children are growing up, as I said, we're looking at iPads and TVs and looking at shows. They're living and just growing up with social media and all of that. And just growing up like that, it's just like not gonna be so beneficial to them, once they grow up, because there's just gonna be so many different things that they are gonna be missing out on. Especially if I compare my own childhood, where I have been outside playing. I was driving for like 20 minutes to knock on my friend's door, asking his mother if he can come outside. Just this experience alone, like people will never experience that, in today's world, right?
Yes.
Because we are like messaging, hey, do you want to come out? Like they don't even come outside. They just gonna play, online basically. It's just like, so yeah, that's a great goal to have for sure.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So let's, we are getting close to the end of the interview here, but I would love to ask you just a couple of quick questions, which I usually ask, all the time. So first of all, what would be your advice to your younger self if you could, meet up with her for like an hour? What would you tell her?
Invest in a coach.
Yeah.
Find someone who has the skills that you do not have to get you from point A to point B, and get a credit card, get a loan, do whatever it is you have to do and pay that money.
Yeah.
If I would have done that sooner, years ago, I can't imagine where I would be today, but I just didn't know that that's how it worked. So that would be the advice that I give to my younger self, and to anyone out there who's debating on, oh my God, it costs X amount of money to work with this person. That's crazy. When you invest that money, that person is then investing their time into you. And also you then tap into their network. So that's something that I didn't realize about investing with a coach, is that now you're in their network of people, which gets you into that higher vibration. So investing in a coach.
And would you do anything differently if you could go back in time, perhaps to the 18-year-old Lauren, or would you do everything the same as you did to get to the same stage you are in now?
Oh, that's an interesting question, because the adventures that I've been on from 18 to now, let's see, I'm 34. So it's been, I've definitely had an interesting ride. I would say, looking back, I was very sensitive to the opinions and the thoughts of others, and I didn't step fully into my power really until the last couple of years. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday. She was only 22, and I was just thinking, wow, she's only 22, but it's as if I'm talking to somebody who's 40 years old, just because of how in her power she was, because she wasn't listening to any outside influences. So if I could look back on the younger version of myself, I would say, be confident in your instincts and who you are, and step into your power and really go for it.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice for sure. Because I believe like a lot of people, can relate to that of, not really going into their power and really living to their fullest potential because of the limiting beliefs that they have, because of the fear of judgment and the fear of failure and all those things that are out there that are basically, nagging you all the time. That
family influences. That's real quick to go into the family thing. A lot of entrepreneurs have family members that say it's not safe, it's not a good idea, don't do this. You as an individual need to figure out the relationship you have with your family. And you need to have difficult conversations. Don't just brush those comments from your family to the side and not deal with them. Confront the situation. Say, hey, mom and dad, I appreciate your concern, but I know deep down inside that this is for me. And by taking that step with them, it also puts a boundary on what they're going to be saying to you. And also, you will come to realize that your family will be in full support of what you have going on. It just might take them a little bit of time. So don't let the family influences bring you down. Just have the conversations and realize it might be a challenge for a little bit, but it will change.
And it's also very important, because I can totally relate to that. Luckily, my family has been incredibly supportive from day one, where I told them I start this online venture, because I just saw, my mom is a woman's doctor. She has her own practice. And, I thought for 15 years of my life, I'm going to become a doctor as well, because doctors are highly regarded, highly paid and all of that. And my mom thought that as well, until I realized that it wasn't really, my goal and my reality, but it was more of the reality and the dream that my mom had, for me, which she supported me in and with everything she could. Right. So I totally agree that, because family is like the closest that you can have. Right. And if they don't support you, and if you have this, this energy that there's just something that doesn't really fit, that will bog you down, and it'll feel like it's just like weights, on your shoulders all the time. And, unless you don't resolve that, it's just like the past traumas, you're not going to be clear headed, and, will be able to actually step into your own role of, becoming a leader yourself. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, what is the most thing that you are the most proud of? Like, what's the thing that you're most proud of till today?
Ooh, man, no one's asked me that recently. So that's, I'm really proud of the life that I've created. I really am. I live a dream life.
Yeah.
And I look at my life and I say, what? But then it goes back to the strategy behind manifesting your dreams. Like, this wasn't by chance. This wasn't by luck. I created this life that I live. And so I'm very, very proud of the life that I have created.
Yeah, and you should be, because
I hope that doesn't sound like...
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's also important to give yourself, the credit that what you have built, right? Because if you don't do that, it's just like, you build and build and build, but you never really take the pause and appreciate what you have actually built, right?
And with that being said, I said this earlier, I don't have a college education.
Yeah, true. That's also, a good point to bring up.
Yeah, I don't have a college education. For most of my 20s, I was broke. Broke, people. Yeah. So I'm not somebody who comes from a family of money, no college education. And so for me to create this life that I have now, I look at it and I say, you beat so many odds and so many statistics. Yeah. So that's what I'm proud of.
And let's, like on the opposite side of being proud. And if that's too personal, let me know. But is there something you really regret in your life?
What do I regret? I like to look, I've done so many wild and crazy things in my life. And I don't say that I regret anything that I've done. I wish there were times when I would have been more tapped into me and not by outside influences. There were times I didn't need to go to that 4-day festival. I needed to focus, but all my friends were going. So I said, I'm going to go to that 4-day festival. So those are some things that I look back on and I say, ooh, I wish I would have been a little more disciplined with what my goals were.
And I think that's also very important because, it's crazy how many roles we play in our lives. And, many of those roles seem to be conditioned by a lot of other people, right? Because we want to please them. And, people pleasing is like a very, very, like common problem, I would say, where people just change roles and become somebody who they are really not, just to basically please them and be socially conform. I would say, if that's even a word, Yeah, true. Okay, so 2 last questions. Number 1 is top 3 books that you would recommend to anybody who is starting out online or want to build successful business and live the best life.
I'm looking for my favorite book is upstairs. What's it called? Becoming Supernatural.
Oh yeah, Dr. Joe Dispenza, right?
Yes, that one. And let me show you. Welcome to my house.
House tour by Lauren.
House tour. This is a book.
Ooh,
that I'm currently reading.
Remember?
Be Here Now.
Oh yeah. Be Here Now. Wow. That looks very uncommon.
Yes.
The format.
So yes, you guys have heard. So you guys have heard of him. He is the professor who then went to India and then devoted his life.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So this book.
Who is it? Who's the author of the book?
The author of the book is, this is embarrassing that I don't know this off the top of my head.
No worries.
That's okay. I'm drawing a blank and it's right in front of me. He has the Lama Foundation.
Otherwise, I will look it up online and let them know. So it's no big deal if you don't find it right now. All right.
This book is really great. And then I recently have been reading Multipliers.
Okay. Multipliers. How the best leaders.
And this one is really good or it's how the best leaders make everyone smarter.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Because as an entrepreneur, you're a leader.
Mm-hmm. True.
So you need to know how to work with your team, and make them smarter.
That's awesome. I'll definitely link those books in the description down below. So guys, if you want to check them out, then go ahead and you will find the links below. All right, Lauren, last question before we wrap up this interview. If you had the chance to teach the entire world one single concept, one mindset, one just thought that would change the whole world to a better place, what would it be?
Giving back and serving others.
I love that.
That's my mantra. And I've realized that when I connect with people who have that same mindset of giving back and serving others, that there's a certain momentum that is behind the person that equals change. And so I feel like if everyone in the world was giving back and serving others, I mean, just imagine the whole earth would shift in a drastic way.
Yeah. Just basically, not be selfish and just share, what you can with the world.
Yes. And I learned that from when I was in India, because the people there, no matter how dire their situation is, they are giving back and they're serving others. And when I was in India for the first time 2 years ago, I was there for 2 weeks, helping out at an orphanage. My mind was blown by the mindset of the people there, and also how they move forward with blessings. Every person you encounter there, they are blessing you. And so that to me was something that I saw how powerful it was of them having that mindset of just looking at the other person and just blessing them.
Yeah, it's really
very
cool.
powerful.
And probably a very humbling experience, right? Because I believe that so many people take things that they have in life for granted, and they don't really appreciate it, and being in that situation, as you have been in India, and just actually seeing with how little people live and how happy they are still with what they have, that's incredible. It's
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. All right. Let's end this interview on those terms, give back, and serve others, guys. So Lauren, if people want to find out more about you or want to contact you, how can they find you?
So www.thewealthywellnesssystem.com. I have a 45-minute masterclass where Kai Light and I go deep on other strategies on how to take your services online. So I'd love for you guys to check out that. And then email-wise, info@thewealthywellnesssystem.com. And if you want to talk to me outside of business strategy, my personal email is hello@laurenturton.com. And my Instagram is Lauren Turton. So please follow me and send me a DM. Let me know how you found me. I would love to connect with you.
All right. Fantastic. So Lauren, is there anything else you would love to add to the end of the interview? Otherwise, we would wrap it up here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, talking to you. And guys, if you enjoyed the interview, then, let me know in the comments down below. Check out those links in the comments below as well. If you want to check out those books or want to connect with Lauren and, get her masterclass as well, you will definitely be able to learn a bunch of new things if you want to create your own program online. So with that said, Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on our interview. Really appreciate it. And have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.